I want to show you what it takes for developers to come up with a design for a building that actually gets built. A lot of times you may be driving down the block and seeing a project that gets built and you may wonder, wow, that went up so quick. What you don't know is that in that process, there are so many different designs that have to get looked at, not just for the developer, but for the city and for the community before something gets selected. Now in this particular project, what we have here is an urban block with two historic buildings on each side. And in the center, there was a motorcycle shop that we had to knock down and then figure out what we needed to build. Now, the first idea was to cantilever over the historic building that's to the right because we own that building. So we were able to capture some of that air that's on top of the building. What we wanted to do was insert as many micro units in the building as possible because we knew that that area was calling for that type of unit. And also we wanted to insert an office for ourselves and perhaps a retail or restaurant at the bottom. Now we went to our architect and we asked them for different ideas that they can come up with, told them this is what we want, this is the total amount of units that we're aiming for, what can you come up with? And here's what he gave us. Now in this first rendering, when we first looked at it, we got pretty excited because the building that we own to the right, it's a music and theater entertainment venue with restaurants. And we felt that in this rendering, it was pretty much capturing the excitement of what we had built next door. The problem with this was that it's quite expensive to build. As you could see, this building has a lot of glass and a lot of paneling with different angles. It's very complicated. Although it was really cool looking and we thought that the community would get excited about it, in the end, the numbers just weren't working out to our favor. So we told them to tone it down a bit. In this next rendering, the panels got a bit simpler and less expensive to build, but we just weren't quite there yet. There was still too much glass, too many angles, too many things to consider to make the numbers work. Now in this building, it had mostly of everything we wanted. It had the cantilever, it had all the units that we wanted in it, simple design. We thought this was pretty easy to build. It still was quite expensive because to achieve that cantilever, you have to build a building out of concrete, but we like the simple design, very easy to build this type of building. This is just a different angle of that building. As you could see, the cantilever going over the historic project. There's a balcony underneath the cantilever. There's a person sitting. From whichever angle you're looking at this, it was pretty cool and we were very happy with it. But we said to them, you know what? Just show us some more in case this isn't the one. With this design, we weren't really too crazy about this. It kind of looked like a tilted Jenga building. Something looked off about it. That orange veneer was something we weren't crazy about. We could have just changed it to a different color, but overall, this design was something that we didn't like. We decided to look at some more. Now, this was a pretty cool design as well. Kind of reminded me of the first design where it looks like it's a star. This one is also very modern and very expensive to build. We kind of liked it because as you're walking or driving down the block, it appears that the panels are moving. They're not. It just appears that way because of the angle of those openings for the windows. Pretty cool design, very expensive. We decided to pass on this as well. And if you look at the lower right portion of this rendering, there's a different design that he was comparing it to. And we asked them, let's go a little deeper into that and see what that looks like. That design was kind of the same. The panels, instead of them being made out of concrete, they're all made out of glass. This is also very expensive to build. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that not only does a building look good, we want to make sure that the building actually gets built because it needs to be on budget. We decided to go with the design that was pretty simple, but yet it was still very modern and very cool looking. And we love the way it blended with the block. This is the one that we took to the city. And when we got there and we showed them this rendering, they basically just turned it down. We were very disappointed because we thought we were going to present something that's really cool that got everyone excited, but they just didn't like the way it overwhelmed the historic entertainment venue next door, which we owned. It just didn't fly. So we had to go back to the drawing board, start all over again, and completely removed the cantilever, which we were really excited about because it really hadn't been done in this particular area. But we just had to tone this down and create a simple vertical building that was not going over the historic building. So we went back to the architect and told him to redesign this thing. Because we couldn't do the cantilever, we also couldn't get as many units. Therefore, we really had to tone down the design and make it very simple and inexpensive to build. Took a bit of time to completely redesign this thing. Now, this design was very simple. And as you can see, the cantilever is no longer there. It's a very simple building to build. It doesn't have too many different angles or different materials in the building, which makes it very difficult because when you have a lot of various materials on the exterior and on the interior, that means you have to hire more professionals, different subs to build it. We really like this design. We asked them to play with different color panels and just see how various materials will look like. They gave us this one with a different sky that shows us what it looks like during the day, and again, what it looks like at night. And we just said, you know what? Let's present this to the city, but give us a very polished rendering that we can go back and show them. And this is what was approved, not just at the preliminary meeting with the city, but when we went to the hearing, they gave us the full site plan approval. And then we went through the entire process of getting into construction drawings, putting a shovel in the ground, and building it out. And at the very end, this is what was built. As you can see, if you compare it to that rendering, it almost looks identical. So it's really important to have renderings that look as realistic as possible when you're showing it to the city, because they really want to see what the materials are going to look like and what the building you're about to build is going to really look like when it gets done. We ended up building this building, which has 18 micro units above our offices and a restaurant. And it's great because it complements the building that's to the right, which is the historic theater and music venue and restaurants, and to the left, which is a single family home. The block now looks complete, the neighborhood is happy, and most importantly, so is the city. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a new upload. Got questions or thoughts? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time.